What's up, it's your boy Mila Kunis, a super hot actress, the voice of the ugliest girl in cartoon television.
How do these jeans look?
Wife of the punk guy who also somehow runs Silicon Valley, and a big supporter of abortion rights in America. She even pulled a joke on the ex-vice president, Mike Pence.
I understand you pulled a little prank on our vice president, Mike Pence, is that right?
Oh, I did.
You want to tell us what that was all about?
This is when a lot of hate mail comes my way. I apologize if I'm offending anybody. It's not so much a prank as much as I disagreed with some of the stuff that Pence was doing and was trying to do. And so as a reminder that there are women out there in the world that may or may not agree with his platform, I put him on a list of reoccurring donations that are made in his name to Planned Parenthood.
Guess she took a page out of her husband's book. Sadly, this didn't seem to work, seeing that Roe v. Wade still got overturned. But even without all that stuff, there is something different about how America does or used to do abortion. And maybe if it fixes these things, it would work a lot better. Not only for the left in a way where they might get their abortion rights back, but also for the right in a way that there will be less abortions. So if you are interested, listen to your boy Mila Kunis on how America does abortion weird. Before I get into the video, I will have to inform you of something. I'm not going to explore the crazy radical ideas of both sides, like that abortion should never be legal no matter at what stage of the pregnancy, even at the first day of fertilization, or that it should always be legal even if the baby has been in the womb for 9 months. Both sides are absolutely crazy. I'm also not going to get into at which time point in the development of a fetus abortion should stop being a possibility. That is not what this video is about. So let's get on with the first point. There are videos on the internet, one of which I might just have shown you, which show that Mila Kunis supports Planned Parenthood. Now this might be true, but your boy Mila Kunis thinks Planned Parenthood is very fucking weird. Why? Well, let's get into it. For the people who don't know, there's a claim going around that the founder of Planned Parenthood, Margaret Sanger, was a eugenicist that wanted to exterminate the black race. Now, in the research I didn't find exactly absolute proof she was a racist, or at least not more of a racist than was normal at the time. Definitely not that she wanted to exterminate the black race, although a lot of signs do show she had evil intent toward the black population of America. She did support eugenics, an inherently ableist and racist ideology, and beside all that, she also didn't shy away from interacting with racists, even speaking for the women's auxiliary of the KKK. Now, to be fair to Planned Parenthood, they are very open about this. I actually got a lot of the information for this video from their website, but the point still stands. If you are wondering what eugenics is, by the way, it is the idea that the poor and downtrodden were unfit, what unfit is was never really clear, and that therefore they shouldn't be made able to reproduce. If you know your history in the 1930s and 40s in America, black people, for reasons such as Jim Crow laws, were considerably poorer, which meant they were more likely to be seen as unfit by Miss Sanger. Besides all that, she also collaborated in creating the Birth Control Federation of America, or the BFCA, in which she played a very prominent role. This organization implemented something called the Negro Project, a project which was originally sold as something that was good for the African American community, but ended up severely hurting it. Now I don't know what the intentions of Miss Sanger were. She might actually have wanted to do some good for the African American community, but the fact of the matter is that this project did some awful things, like the fact that these clinics were likely erected as experimental clinics aiming to find the best way to reduce or eliminate the black population in regions densely populated by African Americans. Again, we don't know for sure if this was the intention of Miss Sanger, but we do know for sure that there were some confirmed white supremacists on the board of the BFCA who absolutely had this intention. Secondly, these clinics were used as a kind of testing ground on new birth control methods, while this didn't happen in white clinics, showing a sheer racist motive. Now, does this mean that Planned Parenthood is still racist today? Because the founder of the organization, if not racist, did for sure have severe racist tendencies and surrounded herself by racists. Probably not, but why risk it? Why not just create or support some organization that doesn't have this background? That is what is so weird to me. Why can't pro-choice people just say, yeah, we think abortion is alright, just having those guys involved is a bit iffy? Why does the pro-choice side keep insisting that Planned Parenthood is good? I mean, pro-choice is a mostly left talking point, so why does the left absolutely want to take no chances on institutionalized racism when it comes to the police, but ignore it when it comes to Planned Parenthood? Then then there is the fact that a lot of the pro-life people aren't really pro-life, but just anti-abortion. What I mean by this is that there is much more focus on just getting rid of abortion instead of actually improving the lives of unwanted kids or promoting a system that would actually stop unwanted pregnancies.
Okay, Peter, if you're so pro-life, let me ask you this. Would you go down to the orphanage and claim an unwanted baby and take care of it?
No, Lois, I'm here to save the unborn. Once they get out of the vagina, they can go fuck themselves.
First of all, it is widely proven that sex education leads to lower teen pregnancies and in most cases also to lower abortion rates, which is a thing the Republicans, who mostly push the pro-life narrative in the US, are against. Besides this, the main other option for an unwanted pregnancy, besides abortion, also doesn't get a lot of attention by the right side of the aisle, which is of course the foster care system. Because as we all know, the US foster care system is awful. Now there are a bunch of problems with other foster care systems around the world, and foster care keeps being a very difficult topic. Even whilst considering this, most experts agree that for a developed nation, the United States is handling its foster care system kinda badly. This is for many reasons, not only a lack of money, but also because of the fact that the population of kids in the foster care system keeps growing each year, while the population of foster parents is shrinking. Combine this with the lack of housing in orphanages, and you can see the problem. And then there is another issue, how every state in the United States has their own requirements and incentives for foster parents, which means that there is no standard way of getting US-wide data on how to identify a good foster parent. This becomes even worse when some states leave it up to the county. So there are too little places to house foster kids. The population of foster kids, for several reasons, are too difficult and complicated for a YouTuber who's badly pretending to be a famous actress to get into, keeps growing. And then it is difficult to get any data on this system because it's not standardized. And the standardization is more important than you might think, because now we can't get good data on what a good and safe US foster care environment looks like and how to recognize it, because every single state and even county has a different way of how they collect this data. So when in California might be considered a bad environment, in Texas might be considered a good one. But the way Texas figures out what is a good foster care environment might be much more extensive and fail-proof than California, for instance. So how the fuck can you start on making a good foster care system if there isn't even a consensus in the US on what a good foster care system looks like and how to recognize it? This is why I say that pro-lifers aren't really pro-life but just anti-abortion, because any of the before mentioned problems never get talked about by the pro-life side. But this doesn't mean that the American pro-choice argument is not as bad. So, like the pro-life movement doesn't actually seem to be pro-life, but just anti-abortion, the pro-choice movement seems to be just pro-abortion and not actually to support a woman's ability to choose. So first of all, there's this insane fact that the police or any social worker will not be informed of a person getting frequent abortions or when the person getting an abortion is a minor. Speaking about minors, in some states, the pink ones on the map, the parents don't even have to be notified when a minor gets an abortion. In the gray state, this is also not required beforehand, but later when child abuse gets reported, the healthcare provider is legally required to report the abortion to police, who then likely will inform the child's parents or guardians. In the dark purple states, one parent must be informed beforehand, and in the light purplish states, both parents must be informed beforehand. In the medium purple states, one parent must consent, and in the dark purple states, both parents must consent beforehand. While in the red states, both parents must be informed and consent beforehand. So basically there are a lot of states in the United States that don't make sure at all in what kind of a situation the woman getting an abortion is. She might be in an abusive relationship or be forced to prostitute herself, and no one ever stops to check up on her. This also isn't required for the abortion counselor to ask to the woman who's prepared to undergo an abortion. Now, I have to be fair again and say that Planned Parenthood does call the police when they suspect evidence of human trafficking, but again, there's no actual federal procedure or state level procedure on trying to figure out if a woman who wants to get an abortion is not being forced. And in the examples I found of clinics actually reporting on human trafficking, the perpetrators actually straight up told the health officials that the reason they were there involved human trafficking. In one of the cases, it was actually a pro-life group pretending to be human traffickers so they could get some dirt on Planned Parenthood. which, let me be very clear, is absolutely despicable and disgusting. Human trafficking is a very serious issue, and to pretend and try to guide any organization into a bad light by using it is just morally wrong, especially seeing as Planned Parenthood did do the right thing and informed the authorities, who immediately started an investigation, which meant that the people who did this false report of human trafficking wasted police resources which could have been used to help actual cases of human trafficking. But even though Planned Parenthood did report this, there still should be some kind of system in the US that makes sure the woman in question is actually able to choose. Besides that, America has quite low waiting period compared to other countries. For instance, the longest waiting period in any state in the United States is 72 hours, while some don't require any. This is a big difference with, for instance, Belgium, where it is 6 days, literally twice as long. The reason for a waiting period of a few days is so that the woman doesn't just do it because of a gust of panic or after being talked into it by a friend or family member, and has some time to really think it over. Besides, in a waiting period, the support system around a person can also kick in. For instance, if the dad of a potential child doesn't want to be in the life of that child, the woman can feel she has no one for support. But there are quite a lot of instances where even if the son doesn't want to be in the life of his own kid, the parents of the father or the grandparents of the kid do, and do want to support the mother of their grandchild. A 72-hour waiting period is just too short for something like this to develop itself, let alone shorter like most states in the US do, or no waiting period at all. Now, there should be an exception for medical emergencies, of course, but still, a waiting period is completely necessary to give a woman the actual option to choose. In both these ways, American women actually have less of an ability to make an informed choice about their own bodily autonomy. So, I hope your boy Mila Kunis explained adequately why America does abortion weird. If you have any feedback on this video, please let me know in the comments. I hope you enjoyed the video. This was your boy Mila Kunis. See you later.